Hey, what's up? This is Mikey for Ride One Up, and welcome to this video on identifying noises. There are some exceptions that we will address here, but most of the time you won't be hearing a whole lot of noise from your electric motor. First, we're going to discuss normal noises and how to find them. Then we're going to list a bunch of other things that will double check to get your bike as whisper quiet as it can be. One easy example of a regular motor noise is actually high RPMs. Electric bike motors are made to propel a human adult down the road, and they do this pretty well. If we take the human out of the picture and take the road out of the picture, then spin the motor up in the air, we actually hear this noise. This is the motor trying to keep up with the strange demands that we've put on it. Although it's a weird test, this noise is actually quite normal. We can also hear a similar noise when running the bike at high RPMs on the road. Blasting out at the full 28 miles an hour that some of our bikes can achieve, you might hear the motor pushing out those RPMs, but more than likely you're just going to hear the wind. The next noise is actually quite similar, but it comes from high amps. Normally this comes out while crawling up a steep hill and putting high demand on the motor. You're going to hear a noise similar to that 28 mile per hour test, but it's going to be easier without all that wind. Once you crest the hill, that noise will fade and it's all very normal. The only other normal motor noise to consider is that there is a brief break-in period and that regular sound might change. Also, motors sometimes are a tiny bit different one from the other, even when the bike is the same model. Alright, unless you have a sensitive hearing aid, then those are the normal noises that you'll get from the motor under certain tests. But, as it turns out, there's a lot of other stuff in the area that could be making noise. The easy culprit is actually the brake. The brake is designed to have a disc that sits evenly between two pads inside the caliper, which, by the way, this whole thing is called the caliper. If the disc is too close to either side, it's going to make several noises, and all of them come from the same problem. It starts off pretty easy with a very faint wisp of a noise, kind of sounds like this. It could get a little bit worse and make a repetitive ticking noise that sounds like this. And if it's really bad, it makes an awful grinding noise. All of these issues are really easy to fix. Using a number 5 hex key to barely loosen the two bolts on the caliper, just move it a tiny bit and find the right spot to tighten it down. If that doesn't fix the brake noise, then you'll want to look at a more detailed brake video, possibly a bike shop visit. Another possibility of noise from that same area is actually in the spokes. If the spokes are loose and need of attention, you'll hear a little bit of a popping noise, kind of like popcorn. Sounds like this. Similar to the brakes, you can watch a more detailed video, which we have in the description, or you can visit a bike shop if need be. Alright, the next noises are actually pretty rare, but we may as well run through them real quick. The fenders can be bashed around and sometimes rub against the tire. This can be fixed by bending the wire frame and then setting it back. Piece of cake. If the derailleur isn't adjusted properly, the chain can rub against the frame, usually in the smallest cog right around here. After that, we're starting to look at foreign objects like leaves or plastic or any funny things that get lodged in between the frame and the tire. I know I shouldn't, but sometimes I leave these things in here just to see how long they'll stay. So aside from the regular motor noises, if the brake and the wheel and the tire can spin freely, should be good to go. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to our support team.